team, and you're currently tuning to the second webinar session of the day featuring Hartalega titled Heaps of Hartalega. So this session will be moderated by Nazira binti Mohammed, the Executive Resourcing of Hartalega. Allow me to introduce our speakers for this session. We have Kwan Eugene, Hartalega's Chief Operating Officer, Joseph Koch, the Human Resources Director at Hartalega, which will be joining us very soon, and Keith Lai, the Senior Manager of Human Resources. So for this session, the panel will be talking about the stories behind Hartalega's success, which is now the leading natural gloves manufacturer in the world. And before I pass the floor to our moderator, we would like to remind our audience that you are highly encouraged to drop your questions and feedback in the chat box, as our panel will respond live throughout the session. I will now pass the floor to our moderator. Nazira, take it away.
Hi everyone, thanks Dania. Okay, very good morning and good day all of you. Welcome to Hartalega webinar. My name is Nazira and I am part of HR team in Hartalega. And I will be your host for today, and I would like to thank you everyone for joining us. Before we start further, I am very happy that we have Mr. Eugene as our Chief Operating Officer. And we have Mr. Joseph, he will be joining soon. And Mr. Joseph is actually our HR Director, and Mr. Case is our Senior Manager HR. Okay. Okay, so without further ado, I will pass the session to Mr. Keith. Yeah, hand over to you, Keith. Thanks.
Thank you, Nazira. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever that you are viewing this from Australia and beyond, and even back in Malaysia. I'm Keith, and to kick off today's session, I'd like to start off by giving an intro of Hartalega, and I'll do this by sharing a quick video to introduce ourselves. Just a moment as I put the video up on screen. Almost there.
Across the globe, we touch lives, from healthcare workers and those from other industries, to families and communities, to our employees and our value chain of partners. We protect, value, and enhance lives every day. We are Hartalega. Being at the forefront of protecting lives, we are driven and conscious of our responsibility and the impact we have in all that we do. At the core of Hartalega's success is our employees, united by our shared purpose to positively impact the world.
It has been an amazing journey for me personally, as well as for Hartalega. Having started off as a single-line operation back in 1988, today Hartalega is a leader in the global glove industry. I have been with Hartalega for 5 years now, and as a senior chemist, I am proud to go to work every day knowing that what we do helps countless people around the world.
As Hartalega stays true to our mission of protecting lives, we do our utmost to strive for excellence, reflected in our state-of-the-art proprietary manufacturing processes and technological solutions. These key enablers of technology, innovation, efficiency, and quality have given Hartalega the competitive edge of having the fastest production lines in the glove industry, producing more than 45,000 gloves per hour per production line. A carefully crafted journey that is fast, efficient, and above all, sustainable, with the sole purpose of protecting lives. Hartalega's passion to enrich lives drives us to constantly innovate and push boundaries in all that we do. From creating the world's first high-quality lightweight nitrile glove to raising the bar for the industry through innovation, Hartalega continues to excel and improve with research and development propelling us forward, enabling us to meet the evolving needs of the global healthcare sector as well as other sectors from dental and laboratory to food, health and beauty and industrial.
Hartalega is not just a workplace. We are a family that works hard and plays hard together, driven by our own Hartalega spirit. The strength of our bond creates an opportunity for us to also give back to the community together. Through Yayasan Hartalega or the Hartalega Foundation, we continue to engage, empower, and evolve with our communities.
Our responsibility to protect lives begins at home. With people at the heart of Hartalega, we go to great lengths to care for all employees, regardless of nationality or background. Hartalega is committed to continuously enhancing social compliance, going above and beyond to provide the best for our people, allowing us to meet international standards. Beyond strengthening policies and practices for employee welfare and providing essential facilities, we also ensure our employees have a balanced lifestyle where they can enjoy leisure activities with recreational facilities for sports and games. As we strive to treat all our people ethically with fairness and respect, Hartalega continues to be recognized as a frontrunner in industry best practices and as an employer of choice. Hartalega is dedicated to making a meaningful difference in lives across the world. From healthcare practitioners and the families and communities that they care for, to other sectors utilizing glove products, to Hartalega's own people and surrounding communities. Standing strong together, moving forward together, and creating new opportunities together. Steadfast in our values, committed to enriching lives for all. Hartalega, touching lives.
Hope everyone enjoyed the video. So once again, we're from Hartalega, and welcome to all of you who have actually just joined us. So very quickly from the video earlier, I'm going to be sharing with you a quick recap of what Hartalega is all about, and also an introduction. So today we're going to share quite a bit through our panel discussion later, where we'll take in your Q&A, take in your questions through the chat box. So to recap, who we are, Hartalega, we are a leading nitrile glove manufacturer, producing over 44 billion pieces of gloves annually. And we are also having the world's fastest and most efficient production lines, producing over up to 45,000 pieces of gloves per line, right? And I think some of these are some of the key facts that I'd like to also round up. You know, we've been around for a while, since 1988, and today we are over 8,500 in terms of staff strength. We are also operating in two locations currently, both in Selangor. The first is in Bestari Jaya, and the other is from Sepang. So I also like to make a mention of the products. So of course, nitrile gloves, that's our key product, but we also manufacture other types of gloves. And you can see actually on the screen that we are very much a medical device company. So 93% of our products are meant for the healthcare industry, and the rest is followed by food as well as industrial. In terms of market reach, we are very much export-oriented manufacturer with 99% for the export market. 48%, you can see the large majority of our products in the North American region, followed by Europe, 29%, and Asia, Pacific, and the rest of the world. This includes both, of course, our core business in the OEM glove manufacturing, as well as our own brand products through our sister company, Amman Global. So just a quick roundup and perhaps a bit of advertisement, before we start through. I think one of the common questions that we get, what kind of roles or what kind of job opportunities do we have at Hartalega? And you can see on the screen right now, it's actually a wide range. Of course, there are areas, for example, like as part of our growth, we'll see quite a bit, especially in the area of, say, engineering and production, talking about information technology, research and development, sales and marketing, as well as supply chain, just to name a few. So these are the kind of job opportunities that are available. And also for this particular session, to do a quick sharing, because we received quite a number of inquiries for the researcher role. And just to share that, we are currently actively hiring for researchers, those who have actually holds a postgraduate degree or pursuing their postgraduate degree, whether it's a master's or a PhD, in the relevant areas related to polymer science, chemistry, material science, and so forth. So this is just a quick shout out. Of course, you probably would have many different questions. Please continue to putting your questions in the chat box while we begin the session, and we'll do our best together with our panel, our COO, as well as our HR director who is with us on the panel today. So I'd like to hand over to Nazira.
Thank you. Okay, we have Mr. Joseph here. Hi, Mr. Joseph. Okay, so I hope that you enjoy the presentation. It's a very informative presentation actually. So to make the session more attractive, we're going to have a sharing session with our panelists. And also I will open the question to floor to ask any question. You can just write the question in the chat box. So we will read the question and the panelists will ask the question. So yeah, I think while waiting for the question to come in, actually I have a few questions to ask the panelists. So yeah, the first question is like, because we know Hartalega is strong emphasis on innovation, right? So maybe just explain more, what is Hartalega's heritage claim when it is about innovation?
Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you for joining this webinar. Nazira, thank you for the question. Probably I may be the more suitable person to answer. Why? Because I've been with Hartalega for 28 years, and we have gone through the journey. And in the glove industry, Hartalega is definitely recognized as the most innovative glove manufacturer in the world. And I think that's a very high regard that is more important than being the biggest, right? We want to be the best and the most innovative. To add on to that, probably let me share with you our innovation and what products we have developed, right? We came out with the first polymer coated natural rubber glove back in 1993, 1994. So before that, gloves were made using were detachified, to remove the tag of NR using chlorination. and chlorination is not environmentally friendly, and also it causes the gloves to degrade, turn very yellow, and loses the strength, and also stick together, you know. So Hartalega said, no, we don't want to go through that process. As such, you know, we took the time to develop the first polymer coated natural rubber glove in the world. Yeah. And after that, you know, we followed that up with a more elastic nitrile glove, the synthetic nitrile glove. We felt that, you know, we always look at the properties of the gloves that we make, and we always ask the questions, what could we do better, right? And we said, yeah, nitrile gloves at that time were not as elastic. So we said, hey, how come you can't have it as elastic as natural rubber gloves, right? So we went through the development, and we came out with the first more high stress retention nitrile glove. That was around 2004, right? And yes, we have that capability, and you know, we are also working on the next generation, you know, of this high stress retention glove. You know, it's a continuous journey, you know, continuous improvement in regards to you know, product innovation. Yeah. And after that, we also looked at we were looking at nitrile glove already then, you know, and nitrile gloves earlier on, they were all about the 6 grams, very thick nitrile gloves, not as comfortable, and at that time, again, not as elastic, you know. So we said, why must it be 6 grams? You know, why can't it be of a low weight, right? And so we went through the development, and we came out with the first lightweight nitrile glove in the world. Yeah. And basically we challenged the norms, you know. Why can't it be thinner? Why can't it be more comfortable? Why can't it be more elastic? You know, that's always the questions that, you know, Hartanians would ask, you know, and we are not satisfied with just the norm. Yeah. So after the lightweight nitrile gloves, and right now nitrile gloves are down to about 3 grams, 2.7 grams, and the thicknesses are actually very close to condoms, you know. Together, you know, with the development in-house and with our partners, our suppliers and partners, you know, now you know, nitrile gloves are down to the thicknesses close to condoms, but the strength is as strong or stronger than the gloves which were like 5.5 or 6 grams, you know. So on one hand, you know, we look at making the gloves more comfortable, more sensitive, but on the other hand, we don't compromise on the performance and the safety of the product. Yeah. So those are some of the key products that we were first in the world. Added to that, you know, we also have what we call a coats glove, colloidal oatmeal active therapeutic system. It's a very natural coating which you apply on the inside of the glove that comes into contact with the skin of the user, right? This coating will continue to moisturize the user's hand, the healthcare worker's hand, you know, so that you know in the hospitals, you know, for doctors and nurses, you know, they need to really keep washing their hands, right, and sanitizing, right? So it's important that, you know, we provide a therapeutic system where, you know, we could take care of the skin of the user, right? That's where we came out with this coats glove, you know, to moisturize and to take care of the skin of the user, right? And you know, then over the many years, right, when we continue to ask the question, what is next? What is next? What do we want to do, right? And our latest product was the antimicrobial glove, right? We said that, hey, how come gloves need to be a passive protection for users, right? When you wear the gloves, you're protecting the user against microbes or pathogens in the hospital, right? Why can't the glove kill microbes or pathogens, you know? So we were not satisfied with the norm. We asked the questions, and we came up with the world's first, yeah, antimicrobial examination glove, right? So these gloves, it kills bacteria and also viruses, yeah. So right now we are going through regulatory approvals for this product. So it's available in some markets where we comply to the requirements. Yeah. So on top of that, other products that we have which are interesting, didn't neglect the long-term or the environmental concerns. We continue to deliver natural rubber gloves, exam gloves to the users. Yeah. And also nitrile gloves, it's a synthetic material, yes. And then we ask the question, why can't we degrade it? Because natural rubber you can degrade. So we asked the question, why can't we degrade nitrile gloves? And we went on a development phase, and now we have the technology to degrade nitrile gloves as well. So, in terms of somewhat, contributing to the green aspect or environment, nitrile gloves can be degraded in landfill. Yeah. You notice that we are mainly in the healthcare, right? So we say, what about the other markets? So we did product development, and we also have the world's first metal detectable nitrile glove. Yeah, where in a lot of countries nowadays, right, there are a lot of food processing plants which pack lunch boxes or dinner boxes or food in boxes, right? So, and because these are all packed in factories or big facilities, right, there's always a concern about contamination, be it, metal or from the equipment that is used or from people, right? So we developed a glove, for example, of course, in this food processing or packing plants, they need to wear gloves, right? So the concern is also what happens if a small piece of glove drops into the food or into the food package, right? So then we say, how can we stop this how can we detect this, right? So, and we know in a lot of food processing or food packing plants, they are already using metal detection equipment, So we have made our nitrile glove metal detectable, down to about a very small piece, probably about 4 mm square in area, So if a small little piece drops into the food and this food package goes through a metal detectable equipment, if the alarm will sound and the conveyor will stop, that is and we are promoting this in North America and also in Japan, right? And we're doing pretty well in North America for this product. Yeah. So and we do see a lot of potential for this product moving forward. Yeah. So long story short, I think innovation is a journey. It's a journey. Having said that, I think the focus has always been to be the best and to be the most innovative. And we're not even talking about only products. We are very strong and very innovative in terms of production equipment, engineering equipment as well. But probably I will not talk about it now unless the question comes up. I would really love to share about our engineering innovation. Yeah. So back to you, Nazira.
And thanks, Eugene. Okay, there's a few questions coming actually. So the first question, the first question is, who would you say your biggest competitor domestically and internationally? And how does Hartalega stay one step ahead other brands? Yeah, I'll leave the answer to Joseph or Mr. Eugene. Yeah.
Probably allow me to take it. I think our biggest competitors are competitors who are focused on quality, who are focused on innovation. I prefer not to name names, but I think in the industry, there are a couple of companies who have this strong focus on quality and on innovation. Yeah. So those are the type of competitors that we really compete with. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question, okay, how Hartalega make sure the shield values instilled in every employees?
Yeah, let me take that. Hi, everyone. It's good to be back with graduates. Howdy, everybody. It is really a great opportunity to be working in Hartalega. We have about 9,000 people, and the staff, we call them Hartanian, right? So we have both people who are from Malaysia and also from Myanmar, Nepal, Bangladesh. And for us, we view ourselves as a family, right? I think that's primary. We call ourselves Hartanian, and we want to enable a culture, right? A similar culture, no matter where you come from. That is quite aspiration. I think it comes from a heritage of the founder, right? The founder is one that until today are seen as like the father of the company, right? Taking care of the family unit, and until today, he is still very close, not only to people that have has grown in the company, but also the new staff, right? So that culture has continued to permeate in how we act as an organization. So I just want to add on a bit on the questions about innovation, right? So we talk about product innovation as well as technology, right? Process. But I think in people as well, I think I just want to bring two things before I answer the question about culture. So as a person who come from outside in, right? Hartalega is seen and continue to be seen in the industry as an innovative company. What we didn't talk a lot was about some of the innovation that we do in the people side, right? So I think there are two things that I'm impressed when we talk about culture. One of them is, how do we treat our foreign associates, people who are not from Malaysia, right? So we do bring them in, and we take care of them, right? So we do have state-of-the-art hostel, right? In the hostel, you have bought rooms, you have free Wi-Fi, you have industry-grade kitchen, right, for them to cook. So it is taking care of our colleague as part of the family, right? So that's a bit of different thinking. Not the biggest innovation in the whole wide world, but it is a step forward as an industry. Second is in terms of where we see the progress. So we have something called Advanced Development Program, ADP, right? So for foreign associates, they will compete operator and technician, right? Operator level, they can compete with the local to be promoted, and they go through this course, right? And in this course, they get education, they get training, assessment, and also recognition, right? So it is not only the structure, but it is giving the equal opportunity for anyone, right, who are with the merit, right, to be promoted, not just by promotion, but enabling the person to have a bigger capability as well as capacity, right, to grow. So I see that very different than the other place in the industry. And similarly, because I'm from different industry, I can see how this little people innovation makes a lot of difference in the lives of the people. Culture is so important to us, right? We speak and brief about it a lot in among the leadership team as well as throughout the organization. So we have something called SHIELD, right? SHIELD, it is that's acronym, right, for synergy, honesty, innovation, excellence, learning, as well as dedication. So the way we live, we have SHIELD. It is encompassed in quite a fair bit of areas in terms of our people management, right? So in the employee life cycle, as the person come in, the first day, they are introduced to the expectation, right? So it's about the culture. It's how we want ourselves to behave. Let's say in terms of honesty, right? So to say when when we know or do not know, and be transparent about it, right? So that's something that as a microculture of a bigger country culture, is something that we want to shift in enabling us to behave in a way that helps us each other as part of the family. And of course, in the employee life cycle, you also have that in your performance, right? So how do we look at performance? And part of it is to have our 30% of our rating looking into descriptors, right? Behavior descriptors of this culture, right? So how do we extend our hand to help each other, right? And that's fantastic because it allows us to have a consistent expectation between each other, and also to work out situations when we cannot agree, right? So what does that mean for us to bridge the gap? And part of the climate is also to understand where we are, right? So we do have an engagement survey, like maybe a lot of companies in the world right now. So it gives us a view about where are the important areas and where are the hit spots. So in terms of, for example, collaboration, right? Collaboration was in our top 5 areas to improve last year, right? And we just concluded, and I just seen the report yesterday. All right, so the team worked on it, and it's not in the top 5 areas for this year, right? So we are rather meticulous in where we think are important in terms of the culture, and of course, culture it's strategy for breakfast, and that's our belief, right? So, so if you join us, and you should think about it, it's an opportunity for you to think about, right? How do we work together as part of the big family? Back to you, Nazira.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Okay, next question is actually come from Arlia Atika. It's a very good question. The question is how do you make sure that you can the question is, may I know what are the challenges do employers and employees at Hartalega encounter, especially during COVID-19, when everything is moving towards digitalization? How did you overcome the challenges?
You gotta unmute.
Yeah. Mr. Eugene, you are muted.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Please allow me to start, and Joe can add on to it. Yeah, we are in operations, right? So definitely during the pandemic, whether it's the disruptions, the government enforcement of 60% workforce, right? So yeah, I think there were some minor disruptions, but I have to say that we were able to work remotely, for non-operations departments, and even some operation departments where you don't really physically need to contact the machine. Okay, the point is, I think we are very blessed because we worked on a very good IT platform, and we have a lot of systems to which are able to track data and monitor remotely. Yeah, so even whether it's supply chain, whether it's finance, whether it's purchasing, we had the ability to function offsite. Yeah, so that I think I'm very proud of that ability that we have. Yeah, even for production lines, right? We manage, we work with a minimum crew. Basically who needs to be at the plant. They are at the plant, but other than that, right? I'm very surprised that we are able to really manage business, somewhat off-site as well. Yeah. So the IT platform, the infrastructure, it was available and in place for us to do this. Yeah. So Joe, would you like to add on to that?
Sure, Eugene. So we are primarily a manufacturer, and we do sell a lot overseas. I do like to talk about people. So I come in the middle of pandemic, and that was amazing. That was amazing in terms of how the people react. I've never seen so much determination, flexibility, and the can-do attitude of the people, right? And I'm rather old right now, so I feel like I was 20 years old. Seeing the level of energy that everybody just think about how to make things work, how to care for people, how to react right when things do go wrong, right? So to me, that is significant. I think that's my perspective when I see that, and that gives me a lot of encouragement. And I see it throughout this pandemic. Of course, we can talk about technology, and like what Eugene said, technology do aid us, right? As at different time of this the MCO, the pandemic, due to regulations, we move to different mode of operation, right? So there are times when we are operating almost at full and 60% and whatnot. So the flexibility of organization in compliance to the regulations of federal and state and local, and then to help us think through, where are the gaps, and where our strength, and how do we actually help each other. Let me share a few things that also observe, right? So it is so important to actually it's quite a challenge, not only for Hartalega, but I think almost all companies. So if you are actually working, or you're thinking about coming into the industry, we are evolving as a whole many different companies to find a model that works for us, right? But the reality is that it is a time where we call it a celebration of introverts, right? So if you're an introvert, and in this current climate, the overall general tendency is that there is a lot of satisfaction. I'm happy working as where things are, right? It is really important to remind ourselves the human aspects of work, right? To check on each other, to look out for each other, to care for each other. I think the latest result by Microsoft, they did a research, and Satya, the CEO, has always been a constant advocate that you do need to balance up, right? You can work very much virtually, but you cannot live without a colleague, right? Everything actually is a product of teamwork. And that's our belief here in Hartalega as well, is synergy, right? We call it synergy. And there's a latency in terms of the effect, but please remember, right, to always check into each other. The second one is care for each other, right? So at specific time of the pandemic, we saw, right, some of the early signs that we need to do more, right? So we begin to give nutrition, right? Better nutrition, right? Vitamin C's, we give them for free. We also give things like free access to internet, right? To those who are working for us, but they may not have the means to always top up their phone bills, right? So it's for them to call their loved ones to check on them, right? Also for the loved one to check on them, right? And that has helped all of us, right, to actually go through this pandemic with a resemblance of a certain normality, right? Also makan, right? Food. So we introduced, specific occasions. We took the opportunity to give really good, let's say, Malaysian meal, nasi lemak, right? We give them hampers, so that there's like kind of celebration within Of course, we keep to our SOPs and stuff like that. So I think all organizations, including Hartalega, are working hard to think through how do we operate safely. And fundamentally, we always tell our staff, right, let's keep each other safe. I think that's all that we endeavor to do, because we do not want to, transmit the disease to somebody else. Yeah, so that's Nazira, thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Okay, so next question from Atira. Her question is, since Malaysia is aiming to become a carbon neutral country by 2050, what is the Hartalega's plan on supporting the mission?
Perhaps I can take this question. I think this is, I believe, stemming up from the recent, the newly announced Malaysia plan. Yeah. So I think putting that aside, I think from the carbon footprint aspect, we are in the midst of studying the overall organization's carbon emissions, identifying what are the sources, and also trying to establish, what are the process to actually track and monitor the parameters. So it is very much a work in progress for us, and we are also looking to invest in technology that would help us to better do what's required. This is, of course, something that as an organization we recognize. And it's actually a very important journey for Hartalega as we continue to enhance, the ESG agenda. The ESG we're talking about here is environmental, social, and also governance. Yeah. So and other sustainability initiatives. So this is what we're doing for now, and I believe this is actually in line with what has been recently announced. So it is a work in progress for us. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. To add on to that, it's a journey. It's something we are looking at, and we are bringing in experts, and we have a new leader in the health, safety, and environment department. So it's something that is very close to our heart. The environment, and it's a social responsibility, right? So as what Keith has shared, we will continue to develop and focus on the environmental aspect of the business. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I give some examples as well, right? Maybe I think Atira was asking. I think that's a big plan. Maybe some realistic example that we are working on. You may or may not know, we have actually a biomass, right, that has been built in one of our plant a long time ago, right? I think that's part of the vision to actually work on the sustainability, right? We then have a belief that it is looking at let's say reducing the consumption of oil by turning the energy portion into gas, right? So gas technically take I think 1/6 or 1/3, right, of the CO2 components versus if you use different oil intake, for example. I think this year also we also embark on solar, right? And that also will reduce our CO2 consumption. So those are the action that has been taken by Hartalega in enabling us to produce and work and improve our environment in the place that we operate. Thank you, Nazira.
Thank you to all of you. So the next question is from Rizwan. His question is like, how do you make sure that you can operate during restriction of MCO? Seeing your nature of business, your gloves are important to fight the pandemic. So did you have a safe work bubble for your employee? And how do you ensure that there are no COVID cases in your plant?
Yeah, probably this question for the team, allow me to start. yes, number one, we have a green barrier. What is a green barrier? Basically, we have migrant workers. Our migrant workers, they stay at our hostel, and generally, they are closer together, right? And because of the MCO and COVID, right? There is a restricted movement, right, for our migrant workers, right? And more mobile employees are actually our locals, right? So that is why, we create a barrier so that we minimize, or we don't want transmission from the locals to our migrant workers. How do we do that, So we introduce, in areas where we have migrant workers, the locals will wear, of course, the face mask, right? They wear gloves, they wear face shield, right? And they need to continue to do sanitation. So that is one way that we are making sure, we minimize or we don't have transmission to the migrant workers, okay? And coming back to how we combat COVID, right? It's a real collaboration, teamwork, synergy, dedication, right? The health and safety, the operations, the doctors, the HR, we are all together in this, and we have our weekly meetings to track the COVID numbers, to look at our initiatives, what we are doing, how well we are doing, what needs to be done further. All these are in place, In regards to detection, when we have employees, right, who are having symptoms, we continuously communicate, to our operations team or our non-ops team that if you have employees who are not well, go to see the doctor, and go to see the doctor now, not after end of their shift or next day. Priority, go and see the doctor. So that's how we manage it. And we have a lot of initiatives on the floor, to make sure we maintain strict physical distancing. The whole plant, we are double masking now, right? And every hour we have our announcements to remind us to sanitize our hands, right? And we have a monthly mini town hall to share updates with our Hartanians on COVID cases, the status in the country, what are the things that we need to further improve on. So it's a constant journey, to manage COVID during this period, I would say. Yeah. Joe, do you have something to add on? Yeah.
I probably got 4 perspectives just to add on. Thank you for that. I think generally, if you ask how do we operate, it is in compliance with regulations. And it is just amazing how much many of us go into reading, right? Not just in news from Malaysia, but elsewhere. But always be cognizant about what are the new thinkings and changes, and how do we enable a compliance to that regulations, right? So we can look at the regulations as, hey, it's bad, there's a lot of work, but we look at it as, okay, so how do we do better, right? So I think that's one, and second is the spirit of transparency. So while we do follow regulations, it is with transparency to the authorities as well as our staff. I think some of the new staff was quite curious, and they say, hey, how do I know the situation in the company right now? And say, hey, it's intranet, right? You click on it, you can see precisely what is happening. And they were surprised. They were like, I've never seen that in my other companies before. I know this is this pure transparency. In fact, you can just capture and violate outside, for example, if you want. But the whole point is that we want to enable this so that where the hit spots are, and also can help together with us to actually battle, right, this this invisible force. And I also want to talk about what you should talk about asking our staff to volunteer. So that's the third element. Actually, it's the spirit of volunteerism. So since day one, the decision was that we will work on the view of one, education, two is volunteerism, right? So the volunteerism is asking us to quickly self-declare, right? If you're not feeling well, actually our healthcare will support any of the investigation and to give you the confidence, right? So if you feel that I am not sure, going back to my house, if I'm safe, for example, we can do the RTK for you, right? So RTK is the test, right? To check on COVID. So you know that when you go back home, you would have the self-confidence, right, to face up to your wife or husband or to your children, for example. And we told them, right, we will not deduct your salary, right? And we have never done that, right? In case you become positive. So those are the assurances and the structure that we put in for a culture that enables us to be more proactive, right, in working together. And lastly, it actually takes a lot of effort. There's a lot of long hours. Eugene did mention that it's huge collaboration, but many of us spend until nighttime, right? Just making sure that all the dots and commas are done properly, right? So, so I'd like to thank the whole Hartalega, right, for working together, right, in spite of the pandemic. Thank you, Nazira.
To add on to that, right, we recognize that all these actions that we took cannot be sustained in the long term. So when the government announced that businesses, the vaccination program for the businesses, Hartalega was one of the first to say, hey, we want to do it. And we really set up the vaccination centers in record time, right? And we are proud to say that more than 90% of Hartanians are vaccinated, right? And we strongly urge, new graduates, to really look into protecting yourself and your family, right? To be vaccinated, Otherwise, we could help you with vaccination as well when you join us. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we still have a question coming, and we still have time.
Yeah.
Okay. Question from Sabrina. May I know how could one, let's say a fresh graduate, impress the top managers or supervisor in the first 3 months if they got hired at Hartalega? What are the skills or what are the skill sets that you are looking for in the new generation?
Let me take care of that. And thanks for that, Sabrina. Fantastic question. And I didn't mention this, but Heaps of Hartalega means we'll say everything about Hartalega, but it's also important that it can work for you. You can ask anything except how much I earn. So what are the things that are important, right, for organization when you come in? So please don't feel intimidated. That's the first thing, right? To me, you're not a fresh grad. You are, a young professional that joins the organization. I think many times we go into the view of maybe the current worldview that everything must be immediate and I need to be able to achieve X amount of things every time. But let me share that it is important for you to understand yourself and also allow yourselves to have that transition. So one of the best advice I got in my first role is first understand your body, right? Your body needs to have about 3 to 6 months to go into the speed of the organization that you just joined. Right? Think about it, right? Then you understand that in the first 3 months, your body is going along, right? So we are working with the dynamics of our human nature, and it is good to then align your expectation as well as what the reality is about. So let me share a few things. So first 3 months, if you are on an entry level or young professional, to me the best are a few things, right? First, be curious. Just ask any questions. I feel that we do not know what we do not know, right? The Pareto law, right? So if you do not know, ask. There's no stupid question. And the more you ask in the first few months, that is useful because you are being yourself and you want to know more. And you get more information and faster, right? So don't make assumptions. Whatever we observe from people, there's our mental model, right? What our previous experiences are and what this culture of this organization is about, right? So think about, if you observe a person that is behaving in a specific way, right? The more you know that person, when you're curious, the more you'll be able to understand the organization, right? Two, show yourself as who you are, right? I feel that there's a lot of pressure nowadays and say, hey, what's your personal branding? How do you actually, act differently? And then, it is like our life is behind a camera, right? At work, you do have a choice. You can do that, and no problem about that. But I do feel that as more and more people understand who you are, right? They may not understand what our capability or performance are, and that's fine. But who you are, if you can show who you are, you'll be probably more at ease of yourself faster, right? Third, my view is be a team player, right? Be a person that enables us to know each other relationally. So if you, I got this advice when I was single, thinking whether I should get married or not, right? So if you want to go far, right, get married. If you want to go fast, you'll be single, right? So in the same way, if you view the company to invest on a long term, right, get to know the people, right? Get to see a task and not just a performance, but opportunity for me to understand who you are, right? And I think that makes the life in company better for yourself. So you notice that my answer is very much on the perspective of you as an individual, right? What do I get out of this? And in the same way, if you reflect back on the expectation of the supervisor or superior or the manager, my view is that they would actually see your authentic self. I think that's what I'm going into, right? For the first 3 months, just be yourself, right? Ask questions, be a team player, right? And show yourself as who you are.
Yeah. So allow me to add on a little bit. First 3 months, like what Joe was saying, acclimatize, get used to the environment, continue to learn, learn from your peers, learn from your seniors, learn from your juniors, soak up what the learning that you require. We have a learning and development program. We have on-the-job SOJT training. We have modules, and we get very surprised feedback from our people that wow, you have such a big database of materials that I can use to learn, right? So learn, leverage on our SOJT and our training modules, right? Improve on the skills and competencies, right? So I would say that's the what we would like the young Hartanians to do when you join us, right? It's about people development, right? If we fully recognize, if we don't develop our young Hartanians, it's probably our responsibility to do so. Having said that, we strongly encourage young Hartanians to also take responsibility of your learning, work with your superior, your seniors, discuss on your development, and align, and agree on the direction. Yeah. So what kind of Hartanians do we like, right? Yeah, we fully recognize that, we are not operating in the 1980s or 1990s where, that's when I started work, right? And we fully recognize young Hartanians or the young generation today, they're very creative, right? And they're inquisitive, they ask questions, right? So that's exactly what we want. We don't want Hartanians who are not progressive, so to speak, right? But we want Hartanians who can speak out, ask why, come up with ideas, look at the current norm and say, can't we do it differently, So that's what we would like to see. And that is why, even just to share our first discovery workshop, to determine, to sort of solicit ideas, ideas for the company, right? We basically started with the young engineers, the young Hartanians, because we felt that that's a rich source of ideas and feedback. Yeah. So the company values the young generation, the young Hartanians. Yeah. So that's what I have. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph and Mr. Eugene. So the last question, because it's already 12, and the question is directly to Mr. Keith, and the question okay, the question is, can a fresh graduate of an unrelated field join Hartalega? For instance, this person is a graduate in admin cum event management, but is interested to join HR team in Hartalega. Do you think he or she stands a chance to join Hartalega?
Well, interesting question indeed. The short answer to this is yes, of course, you do stand a chance to join Hartalega. In fact, in the organization, as I've shared early on in the start of this session, we have various functions throughout the whole organization. And what that means is that, from more technical roles to more general roles. So whether is it in a more administrative function or an area that is more technical, depending on your respective fields, it is possible, and there are opportunities for all. That said, since you mentioned HR, so HR, we have 2 HR people on the panel today. So I think it is no secret that we have taken in Hartanians or new Hartanians to actually join as we grow, graduates from a different background. So having a HR or a HR degree per se to actually join is not 100% a prerequisite, but what we actually look for is more to the individual in terms of your values, what excites you, and as long as you have a passion and interest in the particular area that you apply for, technically the doors to opportunity at Hartalega is open, and not just Hartalega, it's also beyond. Yeah, so that's my response to that question. Over to you, Nazira.
Oh, okay, thank you, Keith. I guess we don't have any further question. We shall wrap up this session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the participants. If anyone still has any question, feel free to send us an email, and we will respond to your email as soon as possible. You just drop us an email. So before we say goodbye to you, I would like to thank the panelists and all the participants for spending your time to join this webinar, and we hope this webinar will be an eye-opener to all the participants. So thanks again, and stay safe. And Mr. Keith, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, maybe to hand over back to Dania of Graduate.
Hi, thank you, Nazira and Keith. So that concludes this session. Thank you so much to our speakers and our moderator for such an insightful information sharing session. I hope everyone enjoyed this session and learned a few tips on how you can land a job at Hartalega. So be sure to visit Hartalega's virtual booth to explore many different opportunities and find out how you can start your career there. So also don't forget to vote your favorite employer as Malaysia's most preferred employer only at the Graduan Brand Awards. Follow Team Graduan at Graduan on social media to be in the know for future webinars and career happenings. Have a nice day and stay safe.